Good afternoon, all ladies and gentlemen. Welcome, a very warm welcome to Actuaries Day 2025. It's not just a day of celebration, it's a day of meeting new ideas, greeting new people, making new connections, and enjoying our day, enjoying the celebration with our community, within our community itself. This day is to begin with the occasion. I would like to invite our esteemed dignitaries on the stage for the lamp lighting ceremony, a tradition that symbolizes knowledge, wisdom, and the light of guidance. May I request everyone to kindly rise on their seats and welcoming on stage President of III, Miss Preeti Chandrashekhar, Joint Secretary DFS, Dr. Prashant Kumar Goyal, Member Actuary IRDAI, Mr. P.K. Arora, Past President of III, Mr. G.N. Agrawal, our senior fellow members, Mr. Ashok Kumar Garg, Mr. Samba Siva Rao, please join us on the stage. And I'm also inviting and now to set the tone of the evening, I would like to invite Miss Preeti Chandrashekhar, the President of Institute of Actuaries of India, for the presidential address. To introduce her, I would like to mention that she is the first ever elected woman president of the Institute of Actuaries of India, bringing nearly 35 years of experience in the insurance, pensions, and consulting sector. She has actively engaged with the policymakers on pensions, social securities, and employee benefits in the macroeconomic context, contributing the government panels and committees. She has managed a pension transformation program for a multinational bank led actuarial solutions on the risk-based capital and Solvency II at Infosys, authored several national and international papers on pensions and enterprise risk management. We would like to invite her for the presidential address. Welcome, ma'am.
Thanks a lot for the warm introduction. A very, very happy Actuaries Day to all of you. As we gather to celebrate the Actuaries Day that marks the birth anniversary of late Sri L.S. Vaidyanathan, India's first actuary, I actually find myself standing as someone who has walked this path with wonder, with questions, and with a deep sense of purpose. At the Global Conference of Actuaries earlier this year, we had spoken about disruption and about how innovation, collaboration, and value creation are reshaping our profession. That conversation was a spark. Today we continue that journey, but with a different lens, which is time. Our theme this time now is Then, Now, Next, celebrating actuarial excellence across time. It is not just a timeline, but it's a tapestry which is woven with threads of legacy, transformation, and vision. Then was the foundation. I often think of the early actuaries as quite revolutionaries with nothing but paper, pen, and principle. They built a profession that could quantify uncertainty and offer stability in a chaotic world. Their work was meticulous, their ethics unwavering. They just didn't calculate risk, they actually built trust. Now is a moment of transformation. We are living in a world that moves faster than ever before. As they say, change is the only constant these days. Artificial intelligence, climate volatility, demographic shifts, these are not just distant concerns, they're actually there with us right now. And actuaries are not responding with fear, but with foresight. We are expanding our roles, influencing policy, guiding ethical decision making, and designing systems that protect the vulnerable and empower the resilient. A bit of a personal reflection now. I still remember my first actuarial exam, and it was on financial mathematics. I did all of 3 weeks of studying and I cleared. So I thought, wow, this is a breeze. People just say that it's a very tough exam, you can't do it, it's so difficult. I said, fine, this is going to be very easy. But then came the challenge of managing work, managing personal life, and balancing it with some of the complexities associated with the higher order papers. But I went through all of it, sailing between a high tide and a low tide, and making sure that I don't drown in the process. As we look ahead, I'm reminded of a quote that speaks to the heart of our profession from Winston Churchill. Success is not final. Failure is not fatal. It is a courage to continue that counts. This courage, the courage to keep learning, adapting, and leading is what defines us as actuaries. Now the last part is next. Next is where our imagination must lead us. The future will not wait. It will demand new skills, newer ways of doing things, new questions, and new courage. And I believe we are ready, because actuarial excellence is not just about being precise, it's about being prepared. So on Actuaries Day, I invite each of you to reflect not just on what we do, but on why we do it. This why is extremely important for all of us. To our students and young professionals, your journey is just beginning. Be curious, be bold, and know that you are part of something larger than yourself. To our senior members present here, your wisdom is our foundation. Thank you for showing us that excellence is not just a goal, but a habit. And to all of us here, let us continue to honor the past, engage with the present, and shape the future. Because actuarial science is not just a profession, it is a promise to bring clarity to complexity, compassion to calculation, and meaning to models. I would like to end my speech with a reminder on professionalism and ethics through a small but very popular shloka from Niti Shataka of the famous Sanskrit poet and philosopher Bhartrhari. I'm sure the first part most of us would have heard. Satyam bruyat priyam bruyat na bruyat satyam apriyam. Right? All of us have heard this. How many of us know the last part of this shloka? We don't. Okay. The last part says, Priyam cha nanrutam bruyat, esha dharma sanatana. This says, speak the truth, speak it kindly, but do not speak a truth in an unpleasant manner. Very often, we mistake the na bruyat satyam apriyam to be don't speak something which is unpleasant. What it actually means is, even if you speak the truth, don't speak in an unpleasant manner. I think that holds for us in our profession more than anything else. But do not also speak pleasant lies. This actually is the eternal dharma. Thank you for being a part of this journey, and wishing all of you a very happy Actuaries Day once again.
Thank you, ma'am, for those inspiring words. I'm pretty sure that all of us are even more excited and proud to be part of this wonderful community. For the next event, I want to address our event partner, Mr. Abhay Tiwari, the CEO and Managing Director at Star Union Daiichi Life Insurance, to come up on the stage for the keynote address. For the introduction, he is a highly qualified actuary. He is the CEO and CEO and Managing Director at Star Union Daiichi SUD Life, as we all know, in 2021. Before which he was the Joint President, Corporate and Chief Actuary. Mr. Tiwari has more than 25 years of experience in the financial service, which dominant part being spent in the life insurance industry. At SUD Life, his paramagnetic approach and understanding in combining business realities with technical management has resulted in stable growth of the organization and also led to an early break even in the competitive market. Mr. Tiwari is a fellow member of the Institute of Actuaries of India, as well as the Institute and Faculty of Actuaries, UK. He's also a CFA charter holder from CFA Institute, USA. Mr. Tiwari previously served as the Institute of Actuaries of India's chairperson of the Education Committee. He is also an alumni of IIT Kanpur. Welcoming on stage, keynote speaker, CEO and Managing Director of Star Union Daiichi, Mr. Tiwari.
Yeah, very, very warm welcome to our chief guest, Dr. Parshant Goyal. Preeti as she led the whole event and the session so well. I mean, the context of this profession. I think Parshant Goyal coming down from Delhi. I think it's in so much of rains. Thank you for doing that. Thanks Arora ji for coming down from Hyderabad. So a lot of us senior actuaries have come down from different places. I think Sambasiv Rao ji also has come down from Hyderabad. So a lot of you, are youngsters who have tried to come from far off places here as well. So I know that it takes a lot of effort and time on a working day. So thanks for making it, and a very warm welcome and hearty welcome to this Actuaries Day. I would like to reflect back on why and since we spoke a little about the then and the now, I would rather like to focus on the future and say that where should we be heading for, because there are a lot of youngsters I can see here, and I think since decades the actuarial profession and the actuaries have been considered to be the real data scientists. If before this data science as a word has become very fashionable these days, but before it really became fashionable, actuaries were actually doing the data modeling and the data analysis. But I have a feeling that we have been deploying it in many contexts: pricing insurance contracts, reinsurance contracts, even catastrophe modeling, modeling of drought, floods, earthquakes, trying to price create a pension system, even model financial risks. In banking also I see a lot of activities where credit risk assessment, frauds are being modeled, and predictive models are coming out on all those areas. But I have a feeling that the world around us is changing dramatically, and it is changing because of the artificial intelligence, machine learning tools becoming kind of ubiquitous and present everywhere, in every domain, in every aspect of life they are invading. And somewhere we are not catching up to it. We are the original data scientist, but we see a lot of data science work now being done by other people. I mean, and the AI and ML engineers, they are really doing huge work in multiple domains, not restricting only to insurance, pension, or banking or financial sector. I mean, the algorithms today can scan billions of data and come out with predictions in just fraction of a second, actually. So, and we are very good on the understanding of the statistical distributions, on the models, but when it comes to handling big data, then we need those AI and ML tools. But somewhere we are not adopting to it. We are not integrating it in our daily work, and that is perhaps pushing us to not. I mean, we could have been at the forefront of many industries, not just the financial services sector. I'll give you one example. I mean, like say, imagine the challenge of oil exploration. I mean, you see billions of dollars are being spent on trying to find which is the right area to drill for oil, finding the oil reserves. Now, there are data on ocean topography, or if you go to the geological patterns there in the oceans, you will be able to figure out as to, with the data there, we can actually decide and determine which reservoir is really good to drill, which can give the maximum productivity. So why we cannot do all of that? I mean, I think we need those kind of people who can really help us with those ideas. Even there are applications in the area of defense, space. The satellite monitoring is happening for so many things, the climate and the weather patterns, and some people are working in these areas. I know that some of the fellow actuaries have started working in trying to model those extreme risks, which can really affect and create catastrophes, especially for the reinsurance sector, because we need specific models for this country. Say a hurricane or a storm in US has been already modeled well, but a drought pattern here or a flood here in India needs a very different modeling, actually. So because the data sometimes is not there, and AI machine learning tools can help us create synthetic data. There are machine learning tools which can help us create that synthetic data, which can really mimic or replicate those real life scenarios, and they can be really very close to the real life scenarios. So those kind of modeling capabilities, and I think the depth of understanding the actuaries have, and I think that's the time. This is the real time when we really expand our domain and our horizon, actually. So in fact, another important domain which I see is healthcare. I mean, the drug discovery or the clinical trials, why we can't be crunching the data to see and create advanced predictive models for early diagnosis of diseases where we can prevent the disease. So I mean, there are images and all which perhaps can be interpreted, but that work is not being done by current actuaries. It is being done by a lot of these AI ML engineers which are doing that. But I think we are restricting ourselves, saying that the data, but only financial services data. But data, if that's the true oil, then the actuaries are the real explorer, actually. If we are calling data as the new oil, then actuaries have to be the explorer of that oil, the person who is finding that oil, actually. So let us do that, and I think let us, not restrict ourselves to this. I mean, let us not say that, okay, we are good at this part, so let us limit ourselves to this. No, I mean, I think the whole world needs data scientists, they need data engineers, they need AI professionals. Let us not think them as a competitor. Let us think that they are collaborators. So they are working together, and we are the enablers, and we use AI as an enabler for us. So let us do that. The other two things which I would like to say today, other than adopting the AI and ML skills, is to create a lot of original research work. In India, we see that 20% of the world population might be here, but we do only 1% of the research work. The real quality research can happen only if you are up the curve. And most of the actuaries are much ahead of the curve when it comes to financial understanding, the domain understanding, or the depth of that understanding. So you can actually create a lot of very high quality research work. But what we are doing is we are closing our education and our learning once we are qualifying. The moment we qualify, we think that this is done. Actually, we have arrived. So but I feel that's the starting point. I mean, we have just started, actually. So the moment you become a fellow actuary, I think that's where your beginning happens. So you can really now focus and create those quality content or quality research work, which will lay the foundation for many industries. In India, I see we are very good at replicating, but we are not very good at creating 0 to 1 kind of a, Peter Thiel talks about that 0 to 1 thinking, where he says that can we come out with original ideas? And original ideas come only when we do a lot of quality research. So we are, 1 to many is easy because, it's replication. So we are not, we are not bad at that. Let me tell you, we are perhaps very good, and we can find better and cheaper ways of doing things, more efficient ways of doing things. But 0 to 1 thinking is also required. If the country has to really leapfrog in 20 years time, 25 years time to become one of the developed countries, we need that original thinking, that original ideas which are first for the whole world maybe. So let us do that. That's the second ask. Another thing which I have seen is that we are very good at assessing risk, but we are not good at taking risk. So we don't produce a lot of entrepreneurs. I mean, if not entrepreneurship, can we lead from the front? Can we be true leaders? Not just in the matter of skill, but through values. I mean, I think Preeti mentioned it, but the true values of integrity, hard work, resilience, where it really matters. Can we lead and not only imbibe the skills which the actuarial profession wants to develop, but the values which a true leader has, and then lead from the front. Wherever you are working, people should look up to us and say that, okay, these guys are here, so we can be assured that the work will be of the highest quality and will be also creating the true value for many stakeholders, multiple stakeholders, not only just for maybe one group, or it's not just about economic profits, but really creating value for the society. So I think this was what I really wanted to say. The future is really wide open. Will we step up to the challenge? This is all upon us. But thanks for coming down, and a very, very happy Actuaries Day. Thank you.
Sir, we would like you to stay back here. And I would like to invite our President, Ms. Chandrashekhar, to felicitate him with shawl and bouquet.
But this was not required.
Thank you, sir, for sharing your vision and insights on what the future of actuarial science should be looking like. We also have a special heartfelt note from the President of International Actuarial Association, Ms. Bozenna Hinton, extending her warm wishes to our Indian Actuarial Society. Please allow me to play the video message.
Namaste! Hello everyone! My name is Bozenna Hinton, and I have the great privilege of serving as President of the International Actuarial Association. It's truly an honour to join you today in celebrating Actuaries Day 2025, even if only virtually. Today marks a very special occasion. The birth anniversary of the late Sri L.S. Vaidyanathan, India's first actuary. As we gather to honour his pioneering legacy, I'm reminded that the actuarial profession has always been built on the shoulders of visionaries who dared to expand the boundaries of what actuaries could achieve. Sri Vaidyanathan embodied this spirit, and today we celebrate not just his memory, but the incredible journey of Indian actuaries who have followed in his footsteps. Today's theme, Then, Now, Next, Celebrating Actuarial Excellence Across Time, perfectly captures our profession's evolution. Then, represents the solid foundation laid by pioneers like Sri Vaidyanathan, who established actuarial science in India and demonstrated that mathematical rigour and professional excellence could serve society's need for financial security and risk management. Those early actuaries built the fundamental principles we still rely on today: the science of uncertainty, the art of risk assessment, and the commitment to serving the public interest. The now part brings us to an exciting inflection point. The global actuarial landscape is transforming at unprecedented speed, and Indian actuaries are well positioned to be part of this evolution. The International Actuarial Association represents 74 full member associations and over 75,000 actuaries worldwide. And I look forward to seeing India's contribution to this global community grow even stronger. Indian actuaries can bring unique perspectives on emerging markets, innovative approaches to financial inclusion, and creative solutions for rapid economic development. Expertise that our global profession values. This year, the International Actuarial Association has established new initiatives that directly benefit our global community. Our AI task force has recently launched an AI for Actuaries online community, which already has over 1,500 members worldwide in just a few months. And if you've not already signed up, I encourage you to do so at aiforactuaries.org. Our Climate and Sustainability Committee, formed this year, addresses one of the most pressing challenges of our time. And I'm particularly pleased to note that Indian actuaries are already contributing to this important work, with Saigita Bhagavawa from India serving as a committee member. I was also delighted to have Preeti Chandrashekhar address our recent International Actuarial Association Council and Committee meetings in Brazil, sharing India's perspectives and challenges with the global actuarial community. But it's the next part of today's theme that truly excites me. The future belongs to actuaries who can blend traditional analytical rigour with innovative thinking, and Indian actuaries have the opportunity to play a leading role in this transformation, and I very much hope they will. What makes me the most optimistic about our profession's future is the spirit of collaboration I see across our international community. The International Actuarial Association's mission to impact, assure and advance is only possible when associations like the Institute of Actuaries of India share their innovations and insights with the global community. So from all of us at the International Actuarial Association, congratulations on this wonderful celebration. Thank you for your continued contributions to our global profession, and thank you for carrying forward the legacy of excellence that Sri Vaidyanathan began. Together, we will continue to show the world what actuaries, working collaboratively, can achieve. I wish you all a wonderful Actuaries Day celebration.
It is really great to see her really very excited for our community celebrating the Actuaries Day today. Going ahead, I would like to invite Dr. Prashant Kumar Goyal, IAS Tripura 2007, presently on Central Deputation and working as Joint Secretary in Department of Financial Services, Ministry of Finance, Government of India, is dealing with financial inclusion, insurance, pension, reforms, vigilance and media. During the tenure in the Department of Financial Services as Director, he had dealt with a variety of subjects, including agriculture, credit, regional rural banks and digital payments. Welcoming on stage.
Good evening, everyone. Distinguished guests, esteemed leaders of actuarial profession, faculty members, dear students, young professionals present here. It is indeed a great honor and privilege for me to be present here and interacting with you all. And I thank President of the Institute, Preeti Chandrashekhar Madam, for giving me this opportunity. I want to congratulate you all on the occasion of Actuaries Day 2025, which is celebrated in the honor of birth anniversary of late Shri L.S. Vaidyanathan Saab, the first Actuary of India. His story is a reminder of the fact that profession is not only about mathematics, but it is in fact a service to the society. When I look at the actuarial profession as a whole, over my journey of 2 years in the insurance sector, I find that actuary profession is the backbone of the entire financial sector. Presently, actuaries are playing a great role in insurance sector and pension sector. Any policy which somebody is buying bears a stamp of the actuary behind it. Any annuity which somebody is getting or is expecting to get in future has the calculations done by the actuaries on it. When we buy a term insurance product and feel ourselves safe by paying a small premium and getting a big cover, it is the innovation of the actuaries and the way they see the future which has made it possible. In fact, the way I look at it is that actuaries work in all three tenses: past, present and future. You use the data which has been generated over years, over centuries, over decades. Look at the future and the uncertainties which are associated with it, anticipate what is going to happen, and on that basis you design the products today. So which is really commendable. And the products are also designed in such a way that they are practicable. On one hand, they are affordable to the people, and India being a comparatively not a very rich country, affordability is a big thing. So products which are on one hand are affordable, and on other hand, the products are viable for the insurance company to sell. So that delicate balance which you maintain as actuaries is the backbone. That's why I'm saying the backbone of the financial sector. And the way I anticipate in future, the actuarial profession is going to expand. I think only last year we have added around 120 new fellow actuaries in the profession, which is a great achievement and contributing almost 20% of the strength now, which have been added in a 1 year. And I expect that the profession will grow both organically and inorganically. I am saying it for the our student members who are present, that we should not see that it is a profession which is not growing. It will grow exponentially, both organically and inorganically. When I say organically, it means that the main sectors, insurance and pension, they are going to expand. Currently, looking at the data which we have, IIDS is having all the data, sharing it with the government. The level of penetration, level of density, level of the protection which is available, or conversely the protection gap is very, very high. So these levels are very low. Density is low, penetration is low. So there is a need for the people to adopt insurance, and the way we are launching the new awareness drives, both General Insurance Council, Life Insurance Council, they are going on the awareness spree. More and more people are likely to buy insurance. Government on its part has launched the Suraksha Bima Yojana, Jeevan Jyoti Bima Yojana, and doing various kind of financial literacy awareness camps, so that on one side there will be demand from the people for insurance in the coming days. Secondly, government is relaxing the rules for the insurance companies and trying to make the insurance profession as a more vibrant and dynamic profession. We are aware that Insurance Act is dating back to 1938, and there is a very limited way the insurance business can be done. Compartmentalized life versus general, and no additional services. And most of you must be aware that Insurance Amendment Act is doing round, like we are in the process of amending that act. So where we will add more facets to the insurance business as such, the things which the insurance companies would be able to do, they may be able to offer value added services, They may be offered to sell different kind of products under one roof. So all this will add a new dimension to the insurance industry, which will enable more and more people to come and more business groups to come and open new insurance companies. So we anticipate that number of insurance companies should go up in the coming future. On the other hand, we have the government has announced that FDI limit will be raised to 100%, and the conditionalities associated with the FDI, basically a restriction. When we say conditionalities, this means restrictions. The restrictions which were imposed by rules on these companies will be relaxed. So we are in process of that. So coming to India and doing insurance business, bringing a new capital, new expertise in the insurance industry will be much more easier and much more lucrative for the foreign big insurance companies. So all this will help the insurance sector to grow, and along with that the role and the responsibility of actuaries will also grow. Secondly, India, we always say that it's a young country of young people, but very soon that is going to change. We will be transitioning from a country of young people to a country of old aged people. The percentage of aged people in the overall population mix will be very high, and most of them would be looking at some source of income in the old age with a rising life expectancy. So pension products, availability of pension products would also expand. Already PFRDA is working on that. Government has seized of the matter on how to make pensions more affordable for people and how to bring more and more people like gig workers and all such kind of people in the unorganized sector, how to bring them into pension space. So whenever we talk of pension or pension product, role of actuary naturally comes in. So this is the organic growth within the sectors where traditionally we are working. Now coming to the inorganic growth story of the profession, in fact we are looking at other sector where actuaries can play a role. Right now we are working with RBI for finding a way, finding our importance in the or role in the banking industry. Like you all are aware that banks are lending to various kind of people, to industries and everyone, and there are chances of NPAs. So how to calculate NPA and how to anticipate how much NPA will come in any portfolio, it is a very important where actuarial science can play a direct role. Infrastructure finance is another such thing. Talk of PPP projects where a concessionaire has won a project with a right to levy a fee. Like normal example is a toll which we collect on the roads. So you are aware that every now and then there is a confusion or there is a controversy about toll being overcharged, or toll should have been charged for 10 years, not for 25 years, not in perpetuity. So how much toll should be charged for a particular project? So I think it's a perfect example of actuarial science. Like actuaries should be able to determine the same. So any project, if you take any port project, any airport project, wherever a concession has been given in a PPP mode, actually the role of actuary should come there. Secondly, any social security benefit which government is giving, be it Ayushman Yojana, be it a old age pension, anything. So how much the government is likely, today I know as a government servant in the department, I know that how much this will cost me to the government today. But can I say after 10 years how much it is going to cost me? Because the number of people getting that benefit may rise or may fall. The amount of the benefit given may rise or fall. So there are too many variables. So if actuaries can be engaged while framing any scheme, government scheme for the welfare of people, so the scheme will be more meaningful, more grounded, where government is aware about its liability in the next 20, 25, 30 years and how the scheme is going to pan out. So role of actuaries would be there in every sphere. It is the way we look at it. Maybe many people in the government are not aware about the use cases of this profession. In fact, you would be happy to know we are working with, we in the DFS are working with council in a great deal and discussing almost in every meeting and informal meeting which we are having, to reach out to other departments and explaining them the role the actuaries can play in better designing of their products, better designing of their policy. And that day should not be very far when government realizes the importance of this profession in areas which are beyond insurance, pension, or maybe banking. But there are some other things which are coming, like in 21st century. The century itself is a century of change. Every 2, 3, 5 years, the way we are doing the things are changing. Machine learning has come, like social media has come maybe around 15 years back. Then machine learning, AI, chatbots, everything has come. So now people are not visiting sites, they are just going to chat GPT and getting the answers. So data science, data mining has also changed, like previous speakers have also mentioned. So that is both a threat to the actuaries profession as well as a opportunity. Because you are looking at a future and you are expert at mathematics and statistics. So I think you would be in a better position to use all these tools and come up with the better predictions for the future. So these are the two things where actuarial profession will grow. I would like to mention another thing. We are working with the institute to create more opportunities for the employment of the students. Like we are in the process of amending the Actuaries Act, and there we are likely to have another category of members. Like today we are saying that there are fellow members, associate members, and student members. Maybe tomorrow we can have another categories where even without going up to a fellow, you are able to practice in between. Like today you are doing it informally. Most of the companies, most of the students, they are engaged with some or the other company. But maybe tomorrow, if the talks which are happening, if they fructify and take a proper shape, maybe you will get certificate midway and given a responsibility of doing work as an independent professional in a limited sphere without even becoming a fellow actuary. So the exit, what I say exit, like your exit today is only one. Exit is after becoming a full-fledged actuary, a fellow. We may give you another exits in between, one or two, that will depend upon how the discussions pan out and what the esteemed fellow members who are already practicing, what they feel. But there is a serious discussion going on. So without taking much time, I think we should be very, very optimistic when we look at the future as a professional. Gone are the days when the number of actuaries in India were limited and the use cases of the profession in India was limited. Number of actuaries is going to expand. The way the students are enrolling in the profession, the way the institute is approaching different universities, different colleges, and making the students aware about the profession, and the way they are enrolling in it is increasing. The use cases will increase. So I think the future is very, very bright. And in the coming years, we will see that the actuaries, which only few people know, everybody should be knowing the actuaries and the way, the importance the actuaries have in today's world. So with that, again, a very, very congratulations from my side to you all on the occasion of Actuaries Day. Thank you very much.
We would request sir to stay back and would invite Preeti ma'am to felicitate sir. Thank you, sir, for sharing us some provoking insights and your perspective towards what actuaries can do and what we should be doing. Now we would request ma'am to make a special announcement regarding the institute.
Thanks a lot, Abhay, for sort of helping us, supporting us, and sponsoring. Thanks a lot, sir, for having come all the way from Delhi, braving the rain, and all of us were really doubting whether looking at. Yeah, so thanks, and thanks, Pramod, for coming for this occasion. I would like to make a special announcement and express my heartfelt gratitude to Samba Shivrao sir, who is contributing 1 crore rupees towards the profession. And I'm sure this will help us do meaningful research in life insurance and contribute to creating greater opportunities for students and members. A big round of applause for him once again. Sir, please. No check, you can hand over that later. That's okay.
Let me do the real check.
Thank you very much. I really, really appreciate it. Sorry, yeah. This side. Extremely inspiring, I must say.
Nothing.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot, sir, for inspiring us, the next generation of actuaries. Now comes up the highlight of the program, our panel discussion. Then now next, celebrating actuarial excellence across the time. This isn't a formal speech by our panelists, but this time it's an open-ended discussion with the young audience sitting here and obviously our senior fellow members of the institute. For the upcoming session, I would request our facilitators, Mr. Vineet Dedia and Ms. Riddhi Barfiwala, to come up on the stage. Mr. Vineet Dedia, a qualified actuary with almost a decade of expertise in PNC, insurance and pension, and currently leading the Analytics Solutions UK team at Marsh. And Ms. Riddhi Barfiwala, a qualified life insurance actuary, an expert with over a 7-year of experience currently practicing at SBI Life into various areas like shareholder reporting, business planning, and actuarial modeling. Over to you, Vineet and Riddhi.
Hello. Yep. Awesome. Perfect. So for this panel discussion, we're really excited about it. I would like to invite Mr. G. N. Agarwal, sir. He's a fellow member of the Institute of Actuaries of India, and he has been the president. He's been the president of Institute of Actuaries of India from 2006 to 2010. And before that, he was the vice president and also the chief editor of magazine, The Actuary India. Mr. Agarwal has worked as a member of the International Actuarial Association, Insurance Advisory Committee of IRDA, Risk-Based Capital Steering Committee of IRDI, and Appellate Authority constituted under CA Act 1949 by Government of India. He has held some notable positions during last 2 decades, such as Executive Director in LIC, CEO and whole-time Director of Future Generali India Life Insurance Company. Presently, he is also serving as Independent Director of a life and a general insurance company in India. His special achievements include conducting mortality investigation of annuitant lives in India in 1999, mortality table LIC 1996 to 98. Sir, please, if you could join us for the discussion. I would also like to invite Preeti ma'am for the panel discussion.
Yeah, so today, before we start, we are very curious to know that how did you all first find out about the profession, And when did you all start giving exams?
Yeah, so actually it is way back. I was in LIC, Agra, and I am good at mathematics and statistics. So Mr. R.S. Rajan was there as ADM, those who know actually LIC, so might be knowing. So when I met him, so he encouraged me, and actually I took membership of Institute of Actuaries of UK in December 1977. April 1978, I wrote first exam and passed it. In those days, actually, calculators were not allowed, and we used to have log table. So computation was a problem. So that's the beginning.
Okay, I joined as a directly recruited officer in LIC and knew about actuarial science from my father. But with also a rider that it's extremely tough and you have to study a lot. So after having done my MPhil, I thought enough of studies, let me take a break. And really didn't get into studying for the actual science. But when I joined LIC and after my interaction with the then executive director, Mr. R. Ramakrishnan, I just sort of got inspired due to multiple reasons. When I was working in a branch, I knew how we are doing certain things. I knew what we have to do, I knew how we have to do. But the why of doing things was something which was missing. They just said it's a manual you have to follow. And that is when I got curious. I said, okay, this why business is something that we need to understand, and that got me intrigued. And I got interested in the why, and then I met Mr. R. Ramakrishnan and showed interest in actuarial science. So then I sort of started pursuing the exams, and that's the story. Rather simple.
That was fascinating. Okay, so we'll explore our first segment. Yeah. So we'll start with our first segment for this session. So it's basically upon how did you explain what is actuarial science. So we'll start with you back then, because it's a little difficult to explain. So how did you go about explaining it in your social circle?
Yeah, so actually, it is actually actuaries actually are not very well-known profession. During our time, it was means rarely actually in LIC people were not knowing. Even in LIC, even in 90s and 2000, also actually people in LIC even at higher positions were thinking that actually means underwriter. So they were not going beyond that. And so far as actually explaining, if suppose somebody I explain, then I would like to actually mention that actuaries are people who actually analyze, estimate, and manage the risks and uncertainties. And actually relevant fields are life insurance, general insurance, and other insurance, pensions, investment, etc. But actually, we are moving beyond that also in other areas. And actually, actuaries can, because they are experts, particularly in financial risks and uncertainties presently, but they can actually estimate and manage. And they have to do that because the future is not that bright. Traditional roles are being automated, so we have to move from back office technical roles to more strategic roles, where actually we can actually play more actually demanding positions we can have. And actually Avay is already there, who is actually heading a company. So he has moved already. So some such positions will emerge, and we have to be ready for that.
Okay, mine was slightly different. I was working in a branch office handling accounts. So for the outside world, I mean my extended family, friends out beyond LIC, they were clueless about what actuarial science was. So much so then when I used to tell people that I have to study, they thought she's already joined LIC, is she trying to become an LIC agent or something? Why is she studying for the exam? They did not know why I was missing out on all the fun and saying that I have to pour over books, etc. So that was one thing. Of course, within LIC, they to some extent they knew, but outside world it was a challenge. I would say the challenge continues even now, but marginally better. One thing that I still feel is that people don't call you an actuary. Some of them call you an actuarian. Like somebody who studies mathematics is a mathematician. So somebody who studies actual science is an actuarian. So that's a kind of things that I have seen. And yeah, it is. I mean, for me, the experience was slightly different, of course, because I was working in a branch office and then trying to study. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean now it's a lot well known, better known, so it's easier to explain it for sure.
About. Now I want to ask some of you guys, the young actuary, the next actuaries, that how did you come to know about what actuarial science is? Is it some teacher of you who told you, or some mentor, or a random Google search, या किसी बुजुर्ग ने कह दिया कि चलो बेटा actuarial science कर लो, you will be the wizard of numbers and you will do great?
वो बुजुर्ग से मिलना जरूरी है. हाँ.
Anyone?
No comments?
These guys were planning to answer it.
I got to know about actuaries from my MBA school, that is National Insurance Academy. So I'm a final year student there. So I'm a BTech graduate, by the way. But until I joined NIA, I didn't know about actuaries, what it is. Until after 2 months also in the NIA learning, like knowing about actuaries, I didn't know. But after they were having sessions on actuaries, then I got to know and then I enrolled for it.
Oh, great.
So we are getting there, right? Slowly but surely.
All right. So now let's move on. Oh, sorry.
Hello, my name is Vishwa, and I came to know about actuarial science from one of my aunt's close friend, and I was really young and in school, around in 6th or 7th standard. Since then, I knew I wanted to pursue actuarial science, and I think I really love studying actuarial science, and it is something that takes my mind to different levels. And I really do have a hard time explaining people what actuary is about. Thank you.
It is great to see the young people participating in the conversation. Everyone else, I would request you to take a part and obviously go ahead with the questions, because it's very rare when you see such great legends of our industry sitting in front of you and you are given the mic and opportunity to answer the questions. Please go ahead.
Actually, I was known by my college principal. I was studying in junior college and she was teacher in my classmate. And I was good in the maths and she said me, yeah, you should go for actuarial science as your maths is very good enough. That I also like very maths and very good. And I was like to be surrounded by numbers, calculations very much. Thank you.
Yes. Seems the old school method is still working and not the AI and marketing.
Awesome, thank you. So the next question is a bit close to every actuarial person here. It's the exams. So a lot has changed in about exams, but one thing that stays constant is that it's still very difficult. So I want to know from you, when you were writing exams, how was it? What was the most challenging part? Was it about fighting the tricky questions or finding the right study material? How was technology about studies back then?
So actually, as I told earlier, when I started, even calculators were not permitted. The calculators were being used by other, but in exams, calculators were not permitted. So we used to use log tables. Calculators in actual exams were permitted from September 1978, I think. So far I remember exams. And actually, in those days, in LIC, the calculators were quite costly. I could manage to purchase a second-hand basic calculator just with plus, minus, multiplication and division and under root with plus, minus and memory recall. That's all. So actually in those days it is difficult, it was difficult, computation was very difficult and time consuming. Questions means in every paper, one or two questions used to be very tricky, where actually you have to devote, really think and do. But in those days, computation was more difficult. Before actually, particularly, calculators were allowed.
Thank you so much. I think a lot of students would appreciate, we want like more advanced calculators to be allowed, but exams were written without them in the past. Ma'am, when you were pursuing exams, how was your experience?
So I think the tuition material part was not very difficult. I was also with LIC and they were quite supportive. One big issue for me was writing practice because it was all pen and paper. And there used to be so much writing that sometimes my hand would never move at the same pace as my mind. And it used to be very annoying when you were writing the exam. But after that, I used to feel very, very bad for the examiner who had to figure out what I have written, literally scrawled on the examiner sheet. And I used to wonder whether he or she will be able to understand what I'm trying to say. So that was a big challenge. Another challenge that was more practical was the tuition material was all in hard copy. We were not allowed soft copy for quite some time. And I shifted to Infosys Limited, which involved a lot of travel. And, all countries, only 20 kg weight is allowed, out of which 4 or 5 kgs, used to, minimum 4 or 5 kgs was my tuition material. Okay, and you cannot take the tuition material and so you have to literally sort of spread it in the room to be able to study because it's very difficult. So that was another challenge, and I was really, really happy when they shifted to soft copies and they allowed soft copies of tuition material because then that is very easy. So these were some of the challenges that I can think of right away.
Thank you so much for that answer. That shows the dedication. These days we are struggling with luggage, even with 2 suitcases, but we don't think about books. But taking books on your travel, planning that weightage allowance is like really mind-blowing. Ashish, do you want?
See, the president works so hard to achieve her success. I would like to ask the audience a quick check. How many of you guys study late night? Okay. How many of you guys study early in the morning? Nice. And I would rather suggest how many of you guys don't sleep at all while your exam is upcoming. Seems like exam is not allowing us to sleep. Any questions from your end? The next generation of actuaries? Guys from this side, yeah, please.
Thank you. So my question would be that since other industries are starting to value the actuarial skills we have right now, all of us, the pursuing actuaries have. So what would be the biggest change in the mindset when we are shifting from the traditional insurance department to some unorthodox departments such as climate or defense or AI or anything such as that? What would be the biggest mentality shift when we are moving from insurance department to something other, something unorthodox?
So I'll take the question. Let me take a shot at it. So, when you are talking about your traditional fields, all your exam material is all about how it gets applied in, let's say, life insurance or a pension world or a general insurance, etc. So, these are typically how your tuition material is. Your mind is trained for the exam in that manner. But when you're going out and into wider fields, one attitude or one thing that has to change is, oh yeah, I know how it can be done because I'm an actuary. That's not how it works. You have to understand the problem statement of the ultimate consumer of your professional competence. Look at it from their vantage and see what is it that they're trying to achieve. There could be other ways of doing it. You don't have to have very fancy equations correct to 2 decimal or 4 decimal places and feel very nice about it. If it has to be contextualized to the business or industry or the problem at hand that you're solving. And I think that mindset shift is very important for us when we're going into newer areas. We don't go with a chip on our shoulder, because then the acceptability for the other professionals is not very high, and then you've sort of lost it even before you've entered that field. Go with an open mind. Understand what the problem is. Don't go with the idea that, oh yeah, I'm an actuary, I know how to solve this problem. It doesn't work.
Yeah. So actually, so far as present study material is there, it actually you are able to learn managing financial risks. But I think in the days to come, coming days, we have to move, because traditional fields may be taken over by, as you told, AI and others. But actually, so far, I think actuaries will be actually have their positions, particularly. As you know, there have been Devtas, there have been Asuras in the past, now also they are there. So long Asuras are there, risks will be there, and work for actuaries will be generated. Only thing is that we have to learn actually the new ways, new techniques, and we have to be ahead of Asuras to actually manage those risks. So actuarial course also will change in the days to come. I will not be there, I may not think actually future generation is going to, what means I think to be meaningful to the society. We have to actually evolve and come to new risks and manage those risks. Principles are same, and principles will remain same.
I think completely agree with what Agarwalji said. The principles are the same, but you need the flexibility, the adaptability which Preeti mentioned. That I think, because you are looking at a new industry, I don't know how many of you have heard about Palantir Technologies. It's one of the largest companies on data analytics in US. The stock price kind of became 4 times in 1 year. It's like one of the most successful data analytics firm actually there, and doing work in defense, in space, helping the government as well. So if you see the consultants, they're sitting with British Petroleum, helping them decide where the oil exploration they should do. They're sitting with some important satellite or a space company and saying that, okay, this should be the trajectory and this should be the thing, because this is the probability of success is the highest or the best in this particular domain. So I think that adaptability and the flexibility to think from client's point of view as to what they really want and what is the problem all about. I think somewhere, sometimes, and can data be used to solve the problem? So I think, sometimes the clients have the problem statement available with them, they know the problem, and they pose the problem to you. But can you solve it with data? Because you see, sometimes what I feel, any strategy is about expanding the value chain. Either in the value chain, either you make the customer willing to pay more because your product looks better. So how you create value for the customer through data. Maybe because we are, all about, we are talking about the modeling skills, the data crunching skills, or increase value in terms of saving cost, creating efficiencies through the data. So every business will be very unique. So when you put yourself in the middle of that business, it might be a very new world. So, but you have to be open to that. Fine, I've been trained to think about it, but your principles are the same. So, you will still find that whatever you have learned here can be really replicated. It is in one business, but it can be done in another business.
All right, so moving on to the next segment, which is actuarial time travel. So we just spoke about firstly explaining the profession in our social circle. Then we saw how the exams have evolved, like from going from no calculator to calculators, now talking about more advanced calculators. So we are very curious that, like back then, particularly, so this question is for you, that how did the work really look like back then when you started your profession? Like, did you, since there was no Google or no AI, so how, were there like, so today there are professional softwares that do a lot of our calculations because the data is huge. So very curious, sir, that how did you, like what did work look like? How did you all actually manually calculate things at work?
So actually, limitations were there. And it was actually very time consuming because calculations are involved in every actually analysis. So, but actuaries have always tried to actually means within the limits, whatever best they can do. So they have tried to do, and they have actually focused more on accuracy. Even if you read any past report or past study, you will find that even today that is actually means valuable. It gives, though maybe in those days when actually computers were not there, calculators were not there, even then actually actuaries were working. They were actually working with whatever was available, and means so accuracy they have actually focused more with limited data. Even actually now actually means 100% accuracy is there, complete data is available. In those days I remember when 90-95% of if data is actually available and actually is sure, that means it is okay, they will work on that, and means they will produce the results, and then means for the balance data they will adjust the results, and you will find that still today they are actually means meaningful.
Okay. Ma'am, how do you think that this has really changed over time? Like, what do you think has changed from the past?
So, in the past, when I joined, when I was working at LIC, we used to have one spreadsheet called Lotus 123. I don't know how many of you have even heard of it. Maybe you haven't. Right? It used to be called Lotus 123. Very few people had access to computers, very limited computers, and largely spreadsheets were there. But even with that, and I was working in the central office, and I have seen some of the notes, internal notes that were put up, some of the finest notes that I have come across till date. Absolute, very clear logic. You have data, as Sir rightly said, maybe limited data, whatever data, but you had an intuition over that, and you had sound principles based on which you used to take a decision. Those decisions were recorded. And, there is so much that I have learned there while looking at some of those notes of some senior actuaries that it's amazing. But I think now if you see, it is the age of, fast computing. You're having R, Python, and maybe those will also be obsolete in a few days' time, right? And you're talking about AI. So what has changed now is, while we're talking of AI, I think it is not a question of either actuary or AI. It is an actuary who knows AI, and that is the kind of stuff we're talking about. But AI would perhaps do a lot of the basic work, but I think the aspects of interpreting the data, making sure that there are no dark spaces in the entire process of AI, ethical use of AI, governance around it, that is where the actuary's role will change. Basic computing, maybe you will have machines doing, but that the intuitiveness is something that you only will have and develop, and AI will perhaps replace to some extent, but not entirely, because it will go by what gets fed to it, right? So I think those are the things that I see evolving over the period.
All right. Sheesh, over to you.
If anyone in the crowd has got any questions for our senior guest. Does anyone? Yeah. Please provide the mic.
Hello. I had a question that how it will evolve in the future, all the practices that you just said, with respect to AI and all the other things.
How it will evolve in the future?
Yes.
See, and you can add, I'll just give it a shot. So I think what AI will help you do is look at vast amounts of data and help you make meaningful sense. But the issue of correlation versus causation, those are some things where you know the business more than the AI models do. AI models are not human, right? So you know the business, you have an intuition where it is. So let's say you look at pricing, for instance. You will have a large number of data points which you will use. But there are certain aspects of behavioral economics which only you know. The AI system doesn't know. At least it's not evolved to that extent that it can pick up those data points also. So that is how you will put your perspective into what you're looking at for pricing. That's just an example. Yeah, sure.
Thank you.
I started Actuarial relatively late. It was around 2007. And I would like to think a lot of things have changed, but actually, I think we have not adopted technology as much as we should have. And that's something for all of you who are going to be working on this to be thinking about. Rest of the people, rest of the industry, rest of the professionals are all going ahead and using technology. Somehow it has remained the same, the way we are operating. Yeah, of course, there have been incremental, changes, or maybe we are doing things slightly faster. But I think we should be more curious, and that's exactly all of you who have not grown up with the kind of baggage which we had. Correct? You would probably maybe you've opened Excels, but can you do away from Excels? Because most of the time the actuaries are spending time on Excels. So the future is going to be those people who are able to use whatever tools are out there and are able to, like Preeti said, make meaning of that. But it's for you all to see, be curious and see how to go ahead and use the data. So you all are in a unique position at this time. Because you don't, like I said, you don't have the baggage. So be curious and see, you define the space, how it has to be, how we have to improve. And Preeti and Sir said, it's like, those people who have who know how to use AI, they are the ones who are going to survive. So if you are going to be dependent on traditional methods, some AI is going to take over.
Actually, ours is the generation. In childhood, actually, we were used to study in the kerosene lamp. Even the electricity somebody is having, it was a luxury. Landline has been luxury till 80s, If some of our friend comes to school on a bicycle, then means he is a rich person. So actually in those days, and we have moved, we have seen all the changes taking place, and now is the age which has come to say AI. Actually the changes which we have seen in 60s and 70s was taking place, say after a gap of say means 10-15 years after some new thing will come. So it was easy to actually grasp and learn. Then means in 90s and 2000 means every 6, 7, 8 years something will change. Actually from 2008 onwards, the pace of change has actually dramatically changed. And now you find that every 2-3 years means some new thing is coming. You are learning. By the time you learn, it becomes obsolete, out of date. You have to learn something new to become actually meaningful to you, meaningful to the profession and society. So managing, in future, actually ours is now gone, people, but for you people, managing change actually will be a problem. And you should be prepared for that because things are changing very fast, very fast. Every means after 6 months, 1 year, something new is coming. Data science, machine learning, AI, what will come, we do not know.
I think agility,
but it has to be managed properly.
Yeah, agility and nimbleness in learning is extremely important now. We can't say that we will take 6 months or a year to actually become experts on that because by then things would change. You know, that's the kind of pace we are looking at. Yeah, Abhay, you wanted to say something?
I think, let's say one important thing something called growth mindset is Carol Dweck. She's a professor at Stanford and she talks a lot about this growth mindset. I think that is the only thing which perhaps, as Sir also mentioned that this if you, earlier when we used to pass the exam, next 25-30 years, that was good enough for us. Whatever we have learned in the college will take us through for the next 25 years. Now I think longevity, maybe 4 years, 5 years, 3 years, even less. So you learn one coding skills and then suddenly you are outdated because something else and much better has come up. So, but the growth mindset, can be a constant companion. Perhaps it enables you to try new things without fear. Sometimes she says that as a child there are two types of children. I was more of the fixed mindset because we used to think that whatever God has given to us, that it is very difficult to change. But the fact is that research shows that you can continuously grow. You can continuously learn, you can continuously grow. It doesn't stop. Earlier we used to believe that there is only finite intelligence, but actually intelligence also grows. So if people can strive and can put themselves into unknown, difficult situations of learning new things, because new thing is always uncomfortable. So can you expose yourself to uncomfortable situation and be still comfortable? So it is like you put yourself into that and you don't feel uncomfortable, because you are learning new. So can you be excited about it? So I think there will be always, as Gopal sir was just mentioning, G.N. Agarwal sir, actually he's like seen the whole, gamut and spectrum of things. So today's things are really overwhelming. Sometimes I feel that they can overwhelm you, but anybody actually, but then if you have that mindset that it's fine, it's actually interesting to see that something new has come up. So, if you approach it with that mindset, I think we will not get overwhelmed and that it will not be a fear thing for us.
I think at this stage, since we have the regulator here, I cannot just miss the opportunity of asking him on how he, sorry? Yeah, so I think, Pramod, we would like to understand from you, how have you seen things evolving? Because you were on this side in an insurance company, you moved to the regulator, and you obviously have seen both sides. So how have you seen things evolving? Yeah, please come. Yeah. I hope I didn't put you on the spot here.
It's an out of syllabus question. So good evening everybody, and happy Actuaries Day to everybody. Before I tackle this question, first of all, I would like to say that it feels very good to be in the company of young crowd sitting in association with the senior actuaries. So it's a rare occasion to see. So thank you Institute for arranging this function. And before that also, coming to the question, I would like to add that we are celebrating this Actuaries Days in the memory of legend actuary Mr. L.S. Vaidyanathan. So how he conducted himself, what was his work, that gives a lot of scope to study and imbibe those qualities. So in this regard, I would like to add some things about his life before I tackle this question.
Yes.
Right? See. First of all, he was a brilliant student. He remained on this earth for 68 years only. But in this 68 years, the mark which he left, it's legendary. He did his MA from the University of Madras and got the first. And he got the Stewart Prize in the year 1914. He was interested in mathematics. He became professor of mathematics in college at Baroda. And he also got the scholarship to pursue the actuarial studies from the government of Bombay. He became fellow in 1926. So when he became fellow, then he was appointed as assistant actuary in Oriental Government Security Life Insurance Company. It was called that by that name at that point of time. Simultaneously, he was appointed as part-time professor in actuarial studies in Sydenham College of Commerce and Economics, like that. That college was there. At that point of time, he launched many students, many young professionals into actuarial field. Whatever growth we are having today in the actuarial field, the seeds of that were grown at that point of time by Mr. L.S. Vaidyanathan. In 1931, the census was conducted. At that time, Government of India wanted Mr. L.S. Vaidyanathan to do a mortality study of the entire census population. He did it with such a great enthusiasm that his report was considered to be a very, very good piece of work, detailed analysis, and it was used as an annexer to the census report of 1931. Then, because he was assistant actuary in that Oriental company, from 1925 to 35, for that decade, he conducted the mortality investigation of assured lives. And that was the first mortality table, the main mortality table, which became the legendary for all the life insurance companies to use. Now, whenever any rule, any regulation, any provision related to insurance is mentioned, one thing is mentioned, Insurance Act of 1938. And who was the person behind that act? It was Mr. L.S. Vaidyanathan. Because of that act, he was nominated to the Central Legislative Assembly to introduce that bill. And his contribution was mentioned by none other than the law member of at that time, Mr. Sikdar. At that time, the methodology to tax the profits or the surplus of life insurance companies was different. Mr. L.S. Vaidyanathan continued follow up with the government and made changes in the Income Tax Act so that the taxation burden on the policyholder or on the life insurance companies is less. In 1943, the Government of India wanted his services, so he was deputed from the company to the government as a superintendent of insurance. And in 1945, an inquiry committee was formed to understand the working of life insurance companies, and he was the Secretary General of that committee. And the suggestions, recommendations made by that committee was the basis of the amendments in the Insurance Act in 1950. So all of you know that in 1956, the life insurance sector was nationalized. Right? There were more than 200 companies, entities, 245 entities were there, which were merged into one entity, and that became the Life Insurance Corporation of India. In all those entities, the CEOs were replaced. And the CEOs were replaced by custodians. And those custodians were not for belonging to those companies. They came from some other companies. It was only Oriental where the government retained Mr. L.S. Vaidyanathan as the custodian of that company. So you can see the respect, the command which Mr. Vaidyanathan had from the government. So can any one of us with the hand on the heart can say any one of us have that type of respect and command? Leave aside government, from our own companies. So we need to imbibe those qualities, that ingenuity, that professional conduct, the professional work. If we imbibe even a fraction of those qualities, the questions which we are discussing will not come. You see, we are talking about the lack of computing power past. At that time, the valuation was done after every 3 years. Then after every 2 years. You see, it was not possible to conduct or complete the valuation exercise in 1 year. And see, now, every company is doing the valuation exercise every month. And the trial balance is done every month. And we have the computing power to do it every minute. At any time with the press of a button, you have the data. You call the data and you will get the values. You have the models. It is possible. So this is past, then, and now. Right? And at that point of time, because the computing power was not available, so model points were used. Now the regulation also says policy by policy valuation, because it is possible to do policy by policy valuation. At that time it was not possible. The model points had the relevance. Right? So these things are there. So accordingly the regulation has also evolved. Right now, at any time, mergers are taking place, acquisitions are taking place. So we don't see the valuation of last 3 years. We now need the valuation now, and it is possible. It is done now. Right. So these changes have taken place, and regulator have also changed the regulation to acknowledge or to recognize these changes, and it will continue to happen. Right. So I don't know what question was there.
No. I think it was very relevant.
And if you read actually the reports of Mr. L.S. Vaidyanathan even you will find that they have the same relevance, and they are still actually very valuable. So actually the computing power was not there, but still actually maintained the professionalism, accuracy, and all the actually efforts, whatever actually best they can do, they did.
I'll give you one example. I joined LIC in the year 1986. At that time also computing power was not available. Computers were not there. And because I belong to a class 3 category of employees of LIC, and every lunch time we used to go to the counter and raise slogans against computerization, because union asked us to do that. The computerization band karo, mat karo, something like that. That used to happen at that point of time. So what happened? There was one person in our branch who had passed 2 papers from that UK institute. At that time, Actuarial Society se kam hi karte the, so UK institute. So there came a situation where a discounting factor changed. Because maturity में 1 साल में कोई पॉलिसी लेने आता तो उसको डिस्काउंट करते थे. And we got a letter from the central office कि this discounting factor is changed, new factors will come after some days, we will dispatch it. Now earlier factor was 9%, new factor was given, new rate was given, factor was not there. During that time a person policy holder came, he wanted to surrender the policy. उसकी बेटी की शादी थी. अब हमारे पास factor नहीं है. Factor central office से 3-4 दिन बाद आएगा. But he wanted the money that time. So I went to that person जिसने 2 पेपर पास किया. तो सर इसे कैसे होता है? I was not knowing what actuaries and what actuarial science is. ये डिस्काउंटिंग क्या होती है? Within 2 minutes वो कुछ उसने कैलकुलेशन की कि ये फैक्टर लगा दो. तो मैंने लगा दिया फैक्टर. वोचर बना दिया पास करने के बाद. माई ऑफिसर सेड हाउ कैन आई पास इट, ये तो सेंट्रल ऑफिस का है नहीं. मैंने कहा उन्होंने किया है. अच्छा उन्होंने किया फिर ठीक होगा. Because he has passed 2 papers of actuaries. Right, at that time in 86. So the amount was cleared, check was prepared, check was given to the policyholder. After a week or so, the factors came and it was the exact factor. So that was a motivating factor. This is the way the actuaries can also help. But what happened, when I started the actuarial studies, I was at age 37. And when I completed it, I was 45. तो प्रॉब्लम हमें सबसे ज़्यादा चैलेंज पूछ रहे थे वही आता था, जब पेपर देने जाते थे तो क्लास खड़ी हो जाती थी कि शायद सारा आ गए हैं. Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Thanks a lot, sir. So it's really great that I see many young people cheering up, sir, and knowing the past. And it's not so good that I see some few of you guys taking some yawns, deep yawns, and are feeling dizzy and want to sleep. We have got you guys covered as well. But trust me, the piece of knowledge that you just heard, the content that you consumed is really going to help you a lot in the future. And after the entire discussion, if you want me to summarize to those who are sleeping already, we can say that it reminds me of Bhagavad Gita, where Lord Krishna said that change is a fundamental and unavoidable aspect of life, a law of the universe. We also have one more question by one of our students there. Can someone just pass on the mic to her? Yeah.
Good evening. So like as Sir Abhay sir was saying that actuaries can, go into newer fields and explore the newer dimensions. So like now currently we are more into insurance and pensions. So can you elaborate on more niche sectors that we can explore into as actuaries and like go ahead with it?
One thing that comes to my mind is banking, like Sir's talked about. There are quite a few areas in banking where we can use our models, our expertise in models to talk about making financial sense of the future, and predictions of certain kinds. That's one thing I can think of. I think climate is another area. The biggest challenge with climate is lack of data, and you have to make certain assumptions about the risks associated. So that's another area that I can think of. Other than that, what other areas are?
I think I just mentioned at that point of time.
Yeah, you talked about
most of this, wherever there is data.
Yeah.
Data crunching. This Palantir works in oil exploration. I told you in a very big way. They are helping defense sector in US in a very big way. Space sector, because they see wherever there is huge data, machine learning and all that tools are available, and because their statistical depth is much better and higher, I think actuaries can do a phenomenal job. And that's what I felt that we have not tried, because somewhere I felt that the enterprising spirit is missing. Becoming a leader, forming those companies, founding those kind of enterprises is the need of the of this particular time, because I think when the government is expecting us to really lead from the front, some of us have to come forward and create those kind of enterprise. This technology company Palantir was created by engineers, not by actuaries, but they have done a fantastic job in many areas. I just gave some examples, but healthcare, as I said, healthcare is like predicting. The imaging technologies are so good that if you take a scan and all that, you can predict that there is the machines are good at doing it. But if we are involved, perhaps I think we can do even better job than somewhere I find that it is like merging two domains, statistical domain and the computing domain, and you bring it together. So I think we are good on this part. We have to just add that computing domain, and then we can be really very good. As a professional. And that we can make the best of data in multiple domains. And wherever there is lack of data, like catastrophe models are so difficult to do, because there are drought and flood and all are very rare. Earthquake is only once in 50 years. So there also synthetic data creation is becoming very. There are a lot of research papers in the last 2 years I saw on how to manage and create synthetic data on events which are very rare. And so a stock market crash is also very rare. So investment models, I think the AI models to create investment portfolios which can outperform indices, that can be a huge value add for mutual funds. So if you apply the machine learning tools and data crunching tools to different domains, you create value in every field actually. So it's not only to the financial sector.
Thanks, Amir.
Actually, parametric insurance, actually you might have heard, it is actually means new type of products which are coming in this general insurance side, where actually payments are not made on the basis of actual loss, rather means happening of some particular event.
Fixed amounts.
Fixed amounts.
And it makes it very easy to settle the claims.
Easy to settle, easy to actually understand. But so actually things are changing, and not only in means for actuaries, it is actually for all. The recent actually the Operation Sindoor, you know that how the means army is war is taken, war is actually won and lost. If you are ahead of your enemy, and you have to be actually 360 degree, even in actuarial field also. Now actually you have to see 360 degree in every field, here and there. And I am sure that means actually new things are emerging, new things will emerge, and we will have to be ready for the new type of rules.
So on a
within our own actually field.
So on a lighter note, sir, I was interacting with one senior actuary, and he was telling how he has helped. There is some political party who made some tall claims about certain things, and he helped do a detailed analysis to the other party to tell them why there is a flaw in what kind of projections they're talking about. It's a very simple, more on a lighter note. So there's no end to using your analytical skills and your data skills to be able to make sense of anything that people are talking about.
Yeah, so with this we come to an end of the main and highlight segment of the day. Thanks to our panelists, thanks to the facilitators and our senior fellow members, and of course the very engaging and energized crowd to put on the questions. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thanks a lot.
So going ahead, wake up the deep sleepers and yawny people. It's for you, the young generation and the next coming actuary. Now let's shift our gears from the formal discussion about what actuarial science is and what actuarial science has delivered to us over the period, and bring in some fun. It's time for the quiz. Here's how it works. I'll ask a question. The first one to raise the hand gets to answer, and the right answer will obviously be awarded. We have our team to provide you the microphone. Just raise your hand, and here we go. The first question would be, in 1980s, what kind of business was Doordarshan practicing? We have an answer from there.
In 1980, Doordarshan was an example of monopoly.
Yeah, that's the right answer. Please come and collect the gift here. You're supposed to come and collect the gift. Thank you. Next one is very much time crunch question. You guys have only 5 seconds to answer it. So please be ready and hear the question carefully. You buy a stock for rupees 100. It falls by 50%, 50%, and then it rises by 50%. What is the price of that stock? Oh, oops. There are a lot of you guys. I think we should give it to all. Yeah. He still has the hand raised. We can award him with a gift. Being the most genuine in the room. Please come and collect your gift. Now, one of the interview type questions that one might ask you someday. If there were a 10-year zero coupon bond, what is the duration of that bond? Please, yeah. Yeah, it was just to check if you are awake. Now, the actual question comes. A farmer has 17 sheep, all but 9 run away. How many are left? I think we should give some new people a chance. The one in the third row, yeah. Please, ma'am.
9.
Yeah, perfect. Can you provide a justification to it? Perfect. Can you take your gift, please? I think not everyone is excited to have their gifts. Another question to the young ones. If in a pond there are a number of flowers starting with 1 and it doubles every single day, and on the 25th day the pond is full of flowers, tell me how many flowers do you think would be on day 24? The guy in the third row there, yeah.
Half of what was in the 25th day.
It was full, yeah.
Yeah, so half of the pond.
Yeah, so half the pond, perfect. Please come up and collect your gift. And one more question to again the young ones, but slightly those jisne first or second or third exams they've appeared already, somewhere relevant to the statistics. The first question goes to, if your exam results can either be pass or fail, what kind of random variable is this? This guy in the tie, yeah. Could you speak just a second? Yeah.
It's Bernoulli.
Perfect. One more question. What would be the product of all 99 whole numbers? Bhavya sir? Speak it aloud.
It's going to be 0.
You still need a gift? Yeah, please collect it. Please collect it, sir. And one of the last questions to the audience, it would be, what does the mortality and morbidity signify? Sir? Okay, 1 second, we will give it the mic. Yeah.
Mortality is the likelihood of death and morbidity is the likelihood of sickness. How?
Perfect. Thank you. So I hope this made you all active, and we are proceeding with the final segment of the event, the cake cutting ceremony and the felicitation of our senior members. So before we close, it's time to honor our most respected members of the community, the senior members of our community, and also, what's the celebration without a sweet, right? So we'll stay back to have the cake cutting ceremony. I invite President Miss Preeti Chandrashekhar to felicitate our senior actuaries with a shawl and a bouquet. And I would request all to stay back for the cake cutting, obviously. Welcoming on stage, Mr. Ashok Kumar Garg. Mr. G.N. Agrawal. Mr. Samba Shiva Rao. Simba Shiva Rao and Sir Mr. Ashok Kumar Garg, please join us on the stage for cake cutting ceremony. We also invite Riddhi and Vineet, our facilitators for the event, for the cake cutting ceremony.
Let me tell you one thing about him. Actually, he was at Jaipur. I was in Agra. He used to go to Delhi for writing actual exams. So he actually thought to come actually from Delhi by air. And when actually so actually Delhi to Agra was their flight, and it was the minimum length flight. So he thought that means he will go to from Delhi to Agra, and from Agra he will travel by means road. So when actually so to enjoy the flight, actually that was the motto. Otherwise it was taking more time, and so when actually the flight was going to land at Agra, there was an announcement that something is bad. They cannot actually land there, and they have to go back to Delhi. So he came back to Delhi again, and then they were actually means announced that means those who want to take actually fare back, they can take. He jumped that. So his motto was solved, and he had not to spend. And twice time actually he enjoyed the flight.
Correct. Okay. Actually, I kept myself when I passed the paper of compound interest. Name of that subject was compound interest at that time. When I passed that, I keep it as a prize for myself to air travel. So I purchased the ticket, passing the first subject for myself.
Would like to call upon the stage our Honorable Secretary and Senior Council Member, Ms. Asha Murli, to give a vote of thanks to everyone joining us.
Yeah, good evening, everyone. It's really been an inspiring day. I mean, I felt young again. So thank you, sir, for coming all the way from Delhi. Mr. Goyal is a good friend of the Institute. It's really good to have him on our side. He's always encouraging, and anything we say, he's always very encouraging. Thank you for your support. Pramod Arora, sir, thank you very much for coming. I mean, I did not know so much about Mr. Vaidyanathan, and you really have educated us about like what it is that we can aspire to. And it's really something that young people should look forward to, like, you know, from aspiring. So Abhay, as always, very, very interesting thoughts, and like you always leave us with a lot of food for thought, and really these are things which as young actuaries you should be looking forward to. And I also felt like, you know, what you said about like reaching the qualification is not the thing, and that's where your journey starts. I felt, okay, now even I should be looking at a lot of things. You know, it's still possible to like keep on educating yourself. Learning never stops. So really, that's a good thing to take away. Other senior actuaries, really, I mean, you have all laid the path for. I mean, all of us have kind of taken it ahead. Now it's for you all to take it ahead again from here. The staff at the Institute who have put together this, I know it's a lot of work which has gone into doing it. Thank you. It was very seamless, and we enjoyed ourselves. Yes, all of you who have come here and participated in the discussions, thank you for making it all very interesting. Thanks to Preeti. She works, I think, more than 24 hours. To keep, you know, everything going at the Institute, and thanks to the other council members who are contributing and working very hard to make all of these things happen. And last but not the least, the three very young anchors who made it all very enjoyable, Akshesh, Riddhi and Vinith. Thank you. It was very engaging and a good session. I hope we all enjoyed, and a lot of thoughts to take away from here. Thanks once again. Okay, so we are giving a token of appreciation for the three young anchors. Please come on stage.
those heartfelt words, and obviously for knowing the efforts taken by each of our guests and also my dear friends for this event. So with this, ladies and gentlemen, this brings a formal program to close, but the conversations don't stop here. Please join us right outside for the party, the chai and cake, obviously, and over networking. On behalf of Institute of Actuaries of India, I would like to thank you everyone for being participating, for being proactive in the discussions and engaging with our guests. Hope you had a wonderful evening and I made you smile at least a little bit. Don't forget, there's cake too waiting for you all. This is your host Akshay Shah signing off, but I'll catch many of you outside. See ya. Bye-bye. Thank you.